Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Mortgage Coach Tuesday interview. Every Tuesday morning, we are here to interview someone amazing, someone awesome, someone that will both inspire you and share ideas and strategies to be more successful. It's super pumped to introduce Jeremy Forcier for, I don't know, the 50th time to the Mortgage Coach community. What's up, Jeremy Forcier, brother?
Hey, good morning. What's up, everybody? Party time.
It is. Dude, you crushed it last Friday. I think you came in about 20 minutes left, but that last 6-minute rant that you did on the Jeremy Forcier Selfish Why, I think is going to be a Mortgage Coach greatest hits. So great job, brother. Nice.
Well, thank you. It's always easy to tell the truth.
Yeah. Well, you told your personal selfish why. Guys, that will be uploaded into the Mortgage Coach Instagram IGTV channel by the end of the day. And we will also be putting just that highlight, that 3 to 5 minute rant in our YouTube channel. To help me with this top producer interview, I've got my wingman, Todd Bookspan. What's up, Todd?
Hey, I'm super excited to be invited to the party today and ready to rock and roll.
Cool. Well, this particular interview came from the preparation we're doing for a site visit with Jeremy in February. We'll tell you more about that special, we're calling it a mastermind site visit. We'll tell you more about that at the end. But let's get into it, Jeremy. So when we were talking about this, you wanted to share your focus and I guess your playbook for success in 2020. So why don't you first by sharing everybody, how did you close 2019, kind of results? What are you most proud of? And then let's get into your 2020 playbook.
Nice, man. Well, always a pleasure to be here. Love this community, the best community in the mortgage space all time. So thank you for having me. Last year was definitely an amazing, special year. We closed really strong. We ended up at 299 loans for $129 million in personal production. It was a fantastic year. Super stoked about it. But what am I most proud of? I think the thing that I'm most proud of is my team, my support staff, the people around me. They all seem to be in an incredible space. And we have 3 less full-time people on the support team. Think LOAs, and processors, etc. 3 less than we did 18 months ago. And I used to just have the whole team was just supporting me. Now they support all my other loan officers in the branch too. So I actually share everyone that quote unquote works for me. And they did literally over the moon volume with 3 less full-time people, and they're happy. So they're not wanting to kill each other or leave their job. And that's probably was the biggest accomplishment, was seeing other people grow last year, seeing people rise to the occasion, go through challenges, but then create a new norm, a new bar for themselves where now they know that they can do it and they're looking for more. They're like, where's it coming? Bring it in. We need more. We need to be that busy all the time. And so I think that work-wise was my biggest accomplishment. And personally, I did 5 weeks of vacation last year, which is the most I've done ever in a 1-year time frame. And nothing fell apart. So life is good. Finished the year really, really strong and super pumped on 2020.
Well, you also, every time I checked you out in terms of how many total cost analysis you were doing, you were consistently over 50 TCAs a month. So at least 600 more families got a total cost analysis from you. So dude, that's huge. We are close to rolling out the Mortgage Coach gamification platform. Jeremy Forcier is a Mortgage Coach Grandmaster ×5 to be a Grandmaster Mortgage Coach, right? Little jujitsu.
Yeah.
It's 1,000 TCAs. And so I'm really proud of you, bro. The quality of your advice is the hallmark of what makes you special. Well, your energy, lots of things, but great job for being such a great role model in the mortgage space.
Thanks.
So guys, if you have questions for Jeremy, bring them in, whether you're watching this in Zoom, whether you're watching this in Facebook. If you're watching it in Facebook when it's recorded, still, if you have a question, ask it. If there is a quote or a big takeaway or something that you want us to edit into a greatest hits, let us know down below in comments. So Jeremy, let's get after it. Let's, what is your 2020 goal? And I know you already shared part of that on Facebook. You said, I want to do 300 loans, so one more loan. But what are some of your other goals for 2020?
Yeah, so I mean, I have a laundry list of things that I'd like to accomplish, but to boil it down, the reason why I said I want to do 300 loans instead of 299 is that my whole theme really is just about being better and just one more, that you can do just one more of everything in your life all the time, and that compounds itself. So I'm really focusing on being better. Growth, unification, simplicity, and growth are my three kind of power words for 2020. So I want to unify all systems and processes within my team. I want to unify the way that all the loan officers that I get to help speak to clients and give advice and go through presentations and create mortgage coach total cost analysis for every single person. I really want to unify everything because it's more scalable. And because of that, there'll be more growth. And just being really simple about everything that I'm doing. So one more loan is the goal. Will I do more than one more loan if I just focused on being really good and being better? Probably. And I think that that's where, when I look back over the last decade, whenever I've had explosive growth, it's not because I worked harder, because I've always worked really hard, right? I've always put in the time and outworked people. But when I had really big jumps in explosive growth, it usually resulted around me simplifying, unifying, and wanting to be better. So those are the three things that ultimately I'm super duper focused on in 2020 as far as like themes go.
Got it. Todd, any questions for Jeremy around that, or anything you want to call out around that?
Sorry, different technology today. No, I think it's awesome. I mean, I love the idea of just one more. Later on, someone's asking for some of your client and realtor script around the TCA, Dave. So let me make sure we don't miss that, because we always know that people love that. But I think when it comes to that, how are you, Jeremy? Do you have are you one of those guys who put your 3 words for the year up on your computer, or do you put that out there, or is it just a reminder you look at every day, or what's that look like for you?
Yeah, so I have a 2020 goal sheet. It's just a Word doc with 7 different areas of my life. So work, family, spirituality, love life, money, self, friends. Okay, those are the 7 things I make goals in for, just bullet points that I look at all the time. I keep them right here by my desk, and at the top of it, those are my 3 words, right? So everything that I look at on there, I use it as a filter, right? Like, is this going to make things simpler, right? Is this going to unify a greater number of people? Is this going to stimulate growth in any of these areas? So I do have it at the top of my quote unquote goal checklist. And I use it as a theme and a filter as I go through my day and look at these things every single day to make sure that I'm in alignment, because I am as guilty as anyone on the planet of getting distracted or thinking some new grand idea, which might be a good idea, but if it's not in alignment with being simple, growing, and unifying, I should dismiss it and get rid of all those irrelevant details. There's a great quote by Ray Dalio that I love. And I'll butcher the first part, so I'm not going to do it, but I always remember the second part. The second part of the quote is that, any moron can make things super complex, but it takes a true genius to make it simple. And that's really just what I'm focused on, is trying to flex that genius muscle a little bit more on oversimplifying, make it easy to understand, helping more people. Is there clarity? Is there value? Do they really understand? I don't want to ever have to say to someone like, Todd, if you were a client, I'm sick of saying, hey, does that make sense? If I have to say, does that make sense? It don't make no sense. Okay, that they are not understanding it. So I am trying to eliminate phrases like that. I'm very self-aware of when I feel like I want to say it, rather than saying something like, Todd, I can repeat this as many times as you need and say it as many different ways as you need until it's crystal clear, because that's my job and you should not feel bad about it. I had this conversation last night, talking with someone about a bridge loan and how it's going to work, et cetera, et cetera. So that's a form of simplification, right? Simplifying it down and really making sure that things are clear. So I do keep them as themes. in front of me on my goal sheet. And it really just pours into all different areas of your life, not just work.
I think that's huge. So, go ahead, Dave.
No, you go ahead, Todd.
Well, I just know there's people out there. I mean, so you've got that as a visual filter, because I think that that's where people get distracted. You already said it. Hey, you know, you're distracted, I'm distracted, Dave's distracted. And I think so many people fail because they don't have that reminder to get them back on track and give them the courage to say no. How would you coach someone on making sure they say no when that great thing, a good opportunity comes in, so they can say no to that for the great?
Yeah, well, number one, it's okay to make mistakes. I want to start with that, okay? I make them all the time. You're not going to bat 1,000 with ideas and opportunities and things that you think are going to move the needle. And I say yes to things sometimes that I shouldn't, even being really self-aware, right? So just know that it's not like a win-lose, like you suck or you're great, but creating the filter is extremely important, so you do learn how to say no to more things that are not in alignment, okay? It's also a lot harder. Listen, it's easier to say no to things when you have a really tight business that you've built over a long period of time. So I also don't take that for granted. If anyone's listening and you're building your business and you're trying to go from 30 loans a year to 50 loans a year, excuse me, you probably will make more mistakes in saying yes to certain things because you think it will really move the needle. But even with all of that said, you just have to get very clear on who are the type of people that you want to work with. It's very simple for me. Who are the type of people that I want to work with, right? And those are the people that I'm going to pour time into. So time is the most important thing in my life, in my work life, in my personal life. Is it how do I create time for the appropriate things, right? And being around a nice group of people that we have a nice time with, that we want to also crush life with, is the easiest way to fast forward your career and grow bigger. Now that it's not always immediate, okay, when you're searching out those things, and you do still have to work, right? You might have to do some type of loans maybe that you don't want to do. I personally am at a point in my career where I don't do 90% of the time any type of loans that I'm really not interested in doing, right? And every time I break that stupid rule, I want to slip my wrists. Okay, so it's just like I don't do 203K loans. Okay, I just don't. I don't do those loans, not because I don't think it's a great product. Don't flambe me, Facebook and people on here. I'm not saying it's a bad product. I know it has its space, but I just, in my experience, right, I don't want to do any type of loans where the end user, the consumer, okay, is going to be upset with me no matter how great of a job I did or how poor of a job I did, right? And so, and I find that every time I do one, everyone's angry, right? No matter what, because it's complicated, things change, it moves around. Same goes, you know, for all these niche type loans or even brokered loans. Like I personally don't like to broker. Now, if you're a broker, I understand that's your business and you broker. I personally am just frustrated because it's outside of my system. It's outside of my unification of process, and it's different when I have to go somewhere else. So I think that number one, you have to be very clear on what do you want, right? And creating what you want with a little bit of flexibility. I think I've used this, I don't know if it's a metaphor or analogy because I suck at English, but it's a metaphor or analogy. But I think I've used this before, maybe in one of these calls, where it's like bowling, going to a bowling alley and having the bumpers in. You have all this leeway within the alley, but you have these bumpers on each side. Those are your boundaries, and the flexibility has to live within there. So I think that you have to really figure out what is it that you want, who do you want to be around, where are those opportunities in alignment with what makes you feel good, and then really double down on that group of people or that type of person, that type of referral partner. And don't be afraid to ask for more introductions through those people for that type of person, that type of referral partner. And that's where you'll see exponential growth.
So Jeremy, I know I've heard you talk about it before, getting your list tight so you can really pour in to the right people. I know you do business for realtors. I know you really focus on optimizing your past client relationships. I know that you've got this VIP list. So walk us through, what does that mean? What process do you go through to get your list tight coming into a new year like this? And make sure we're clear on who are the categories that you're focusing on.
Excellent. So let's talk about 4 different lists that I'm unbelievably focused on for 2020. So here are the lists, and they're separate. Okay, so realtor list, current client list, past client list, and VIP list. So let me define each one of those. Okay, so realtor list for me is always going to fall into 3 categories. Okay, the first category would be what are called A realtors. So those are relationships that I'm already in, that I close 4+ transactions with per year. Okay, those are what I consider my A realtors, my top real estate agents. I want to have them on a separate list, the A realtor list. I want to make sure I follow up with those people every single week. I want to make sure I have 1 event per year just for those specific people, and that they're acknowledged that way appropriately. The reason I'm tightening up these lists and my acknowledgments and setting intentions on a really higher level is because in the past, I don't think I ever told people, okay? Like, hey, Todd, you are my A realtor. I need you to know what that means and how much I appreciate it, right? And how much gratitude I have around that. And I don't ever want it to stop, right? How can I be better? I want to do these special things just for you because you're in this segment. I feel like we have to acknowledge where our relationships are, and we do a very poor job of articulating that or even expressing that, whether it's because of fear of being vulnerable with people, whether it's because we think it sounds cheesy, which is the same thing as fear of vulnerability, whether it's that we just never thought about it and we think we need to cater to every single person within a segment exactly the same way. It's not true. Getting really sniper focused, I think, is where the power really is in acknowledging people for where they're at in your life and what they mean to you. So I have an A list, right? They're going to get different messaging, right, than my B list. The B realtor list, right, is people that I have done 1 to 3 transactions with in a 12-month calendar time frame. So that would be my B list. Those people should get a call every other week, right? They can be invited to the larger lunch and learns and the group activities and things that I do throughout the year. And then there's the C list. The C list is essentially your prospecting list, right? So on my prospecting list, I'm going to have people on there that I want to work with, who I have not gotten in touch with yet, or that I want to work with, that I have met with. They may have even referred me someone, but we haven't done an actual closed transaction yet, okay? And I need to message to those people differently. I need to message to all of those segments differently. I've never done that. I've always messaged to everyone, in all groups, by the way, exactly the same way with the same message. Whether they're a past client or realtor, I'd send the same thing out. And that just doesn't apply to me anymore with where I want to go, which is more out of less, deeper relationships, and actually acknowledging people for where they're at. So that's the realtor list, okay? Now, current client list. This is my number 1 focus, by the way, is what I call a CCR, current client referrals. Okay, so a current client list is people that you are working with right now. They haven't closed yet. Okay, so the definition of a current client for me is someone who is pre-approved or in contract purchasing or refinancing with me right now and moving forward. That is a current client up to 30 days past the close of the house. That's what I define from a timeline standpoint as a current client referral. Now, it really is kind of stupid that we don't get more referrals or introductions from the people that we're serving on the highest level in a very short, intense period to provide them with some value. So a lot of that has to do for me in 2020 is with programming. programming up front as far as what I'm going to do and what I would love for them to do for me, right? So Todd, we're going to take you through this process. You know, we're going to go through every single aspect of the transaction, but above all, we want to make sure it's a great experience, because 65% of people have a negative experience, and it's very stressful when they get a home loan. My goal would to make sure that you are not one of those people. Does that sound like something you're interested in, Todd?
Absolutely.
Cool. So all I ask is for one thing in return. All I ask, Todd, is that throughout this process, if you are having a great experience and I ask for an introduction to a friend, family member, coworker, or someone that you think could use my advice, all I'm asking for is one introduction to someone you think I can help in the future. Do you think that's fair and you could do that for me?
Absolutely.
You guys see how easy that is? Okay.
Oh, that's so good. People are so scared of that, Jeremy. You just made it sound so much easier than simpler than everyone makes it, right? Everyone makes it too complex.
Now, once again, the reason why it sounded good is because I've been practicing it, you guys. I don't want anyone watching this to think that, like, God, Jeremy's so smooth, or he did, look at that, he just off the top of the head. It's because I wrote down simplicity. I wrote down current clients. I did a SWOT analysis, and I was like, where am I dropping the ball? Here's where I was dropping the ball with my current clients. I'm really, four-letter word, busy, okay? And I talk to them, and they're excited, and I rush. Even if it doesn't feel rushed to the client, I am rushing in my head, okay? I am moving too fast. If you notice, I am talking slower than I usually talk right now. And I'm doing all of this on purpose because I'm trying to retrain my brain that I can slow down to speed up, that I can slow down and get more of what I want by making sure that I am conveying exactly how I feel and that they feel it more, and that when I ask, they are very clear on exactly what I'm asking for. So I think that current client referrals is a huge one. I am practicing it right now. Do I do it every time? No, because I'm still practicing. I'm trying to form that habit of doing it every single time. What's weird is that when I do it, just how I did with Todd, I get great results. It's unbelievable to me, right? So I have a simple form called We Need Your Help, okay? And I've been scared of this form, okay? And I'm happy to send it to everyone. I've been scared of this form for 5 years. This is embarrassing. This is true confession. I've had this form for 5 years. I've used it twice, ever. And it's awesome. It basically kind of says the script that I just did with Todd live, right? And it's meant to be used when I'm sitting down with someone face to face, right? And I explain, you know, what we would love in return. And I have a little form where they can fill out an introduction to 2 or 3 people, right? And the theory behind it in my brain was that I'm going to hey, can I get a copy of your IDs after I explain it? I'm going to leave this form with you. Feel free to write down a couple people that you think I could help in the future, and I'll be right back with your photocopy of your IDs, right? That was the idea of it. And I just never executed it because I was just so scared of the direct ask, even with as direct as I am of asking. I felt like I was intruding, right? And then I found that the way that I say it, which I'm practicing, like I did with Todd, just calm down, man. like just settle down a little bit, ask like really simply, and have no expectation of what you get in return. Okay, because some people are going to have someone, some people aren't. But if we could get, for every 3 deals that we do, if one of them gives us a referral during that transaction, this is why this is important for you all to hear. I tracked all my conversion ratios from leads to app to funding last year, and from the referral sources, person by person, okay? My current client referrals that I got from the clients converted at 68%, you guys, 68. I converted for the whole year at 29%, okay? So that one segment was over double conversion. And the reason I think, and I have to say I think because I'm not a scientist and I don't really know, but I think the reason they convert so high is because those people feel so good when they're going through that transaction that that's what they convey to the person that they're introducing me to. So it's like a chain reaction of feel-good high fives in an introduction. So that's current client that I'm super focused on that list.
Before we move on and move off into the next category, guys, if you just got more intentional with putting your realtors in a list, in a category, you could get one more loan a month. If you follow what Jeremy's saying and you get this intentional around one, defining what a current client is, and then delivering the referral script. And it's important that you not only deliver that referral script, you've got to deliver an amazing experience before that. So I do want to ask you the one question someone already put in chat. What is your script on explaining the total cost analysis? So like, how do you position that with the family? So at least we're giving everybody, like, you want to crush it with current clients? Don't go fee worksheet. Give them a TCA, ask for the referral. How do you position the TCA so we can deliver that exceptional experience?
Sure. So positioning the TCA is really simple, and it goes just like this. So remember, I talk to all my clients before I ever meet with them, and I only meet with about a third of my clients face-to-face. Okay. So when I'm speaking to the clients, like if Dave was the client, it would be this simple. So I'm not going to go through the whole conversation, the 10, 15 minutes before then, but it goes like this when you're defining next steps. Is that, Dave, so here's what will happen as soon as that customer questionnaire is filled out and we get some of your supporting documents. I'm going to create a video presentation for you that's going to outline multiple options. Now, this is the most important thing to pay attention to, because I want you to watch it. I want you to process it. I want you to digest it on your own time without feeling any anxiety like I am in front of you presenting to you. And then I want you to ask great questions. I will literally walk you through in this video presentation what makes the most sense for you to do, but I will also give you options so that we can figure out what's most important to you. It will outline different cost versus price options. Cost versus price is very important to understand, and our industry does a very bad job of talking about it. You will see it outlined in the video presentation. You will see multiple different rate options, because the reality is you have a lot of different options as far as the rate that you choose. Okay, that is the price category. Now, with every price comes cost. So how much does it cost to achieve that? And does that help you create wealth over time? So take a look at it when I send it to you, ask me questions, then we can circle back up, meet in person or talk over the phone, whatever's easiest for you to make sure that you're going to make the best choice for you and your future.
Script, everybody. Notice that he called it a personal video presentation. Notice that he mentioned options. He talked about, I'm going to help you build wealth over time. So now when you ask for that referral, you're not just saying, hey, who else do you know that needs a loan right now? You're saying, who else could benefit from the service and the value? And if that total cost analysis created epiphany for that client, like it taught them something they hadn't already considered, God, they're referring you because they're doing a favor for their friends to get that same service. So if you want to optimize your current customer base, every family needs to get a TCA. So Jeremy, you were getting ready to tell us about past customers. Rock it out.
Yeah, so this will go right into past customers, but I just want to hammer this home with what Todd, Dave, and I are just talking about. So I keep a folder. I recommend all of you do this. In your email inbox, create a folder. I call it praise. That's what I call mine. And I put in praise. Think of them as testimonials, right? When I get positive feedback, and I put stuff in there all the time. So here's what that sounds like when you set the right expectation. This is for a past client, which we'll get into, right? Diane, please see link below and attach for some mortgage options. Please watch the video, right? And then we look forward to serving you, blah, blah, blah. So here's the response. Hi, Jeremy. Thanks for following up and sending the video. I really like the method of sharing this information. So much easier than reading a static report. I need to have a minute talk with Marcus, and then I'll follow up with you shortly. So usually, you know, old Jeremy wouldn't have followed up. And I'd say, great, sounds good, right? Or let's make an appointment. Well, I'm trying to intentionally, like I said, make my intentions really obvious. So I responded via email and said, my pleasure. It makes a ton of sense. In the least, I would get the process started and fully approved to take advantage of the opportunity. I want to help you retire wealthy. Okay, so that's what I put in my response. That takes the focus off of just rate, that takes it off of all of those things that come up with that. And her response back to me was, you and me both, exclamation mark. Sounds good and does seem to make sense. Why wouldn't we want the lower interest rate? Can we talk about it? So you're creating and this is through a total cost analysis video. You have to just frame it, set it, the expectation, and then I want my clients to be more wealthy. And by the way, whatever I teach my clients, this goes into a little bit of the selfish why. I've learned that whatever I want, if it's good, I want that for my clients, okay? So I'm willing to transfer my selfish why to other people. I want them to be wealthy too. Why wouldn't I? I want to be wealthy. I want them to be wealthy too. And I started messaging that way, and the response has been ridiculous. I'm talking to people about 401ks when I sit down with them. Hey, do you max out your 401k every year? It's one of my first questions I ask people in a mortgage planning meeting. And everyone's always caught off guard because we're not talking about mortgages, right? And I'm like, what do you do for savings, right? Do you max out your 401k? Hey, let me show you something. If you save $1,000 a month for 20 years with compound interest, did you know that that's, $766,000? What? No, I didn't know that. Yeah, it is. It's crazy, huh? Did you also know that if you're doing it pre-tax, it's a 22% rate of return in that first year every time? Did you know that? Holy crap, no, I didn't. Did you know if you have a match at 50%, it's a 72% return? It's the greatest tool on the planet, and using that as your retirement tool with your mortgage strategy is extremely important. You have to keep setting yourself apart from an advice-based practice, having these conversations with people, showing them how to do it. It's really, really powerful. Now, on the past clients, okay?
Wait, footnote, guys, footnote. I want you to put yourself in the shoes of the consumer that Jeremy is serving. And he's not only teaching them something they'll never forget. I mean, he's something they didn't know. He is doing it in a way that they will never forget it. I mean, he's delivering advice experience that's better than a CPA. It's better than a financial planner. It's better than any other loan officer. I mean, he is the captain of the wealth team because he's delivering that amazing experience and creating all these financial epiphanies. Past customers, Jeremy.
Yeah. So, and if anyone, I had someone just text me, which was weird. You guys can put the questions in here, and please ask questions. Powerful engagement is really important, but I want to answer this question real quick that was texted me. They're like, how do you do that calculation? I'll teach you the simplest calculation ever on explaining retirement. Okay. So all you do is you take $1,000 a month like this, you multiply it times 240, which is 20 years, which is 240. Then you multiply that times 3 because it's going to double twice. So every 10 years, it's going to double. Okay. That's $720,000. All right. It's the simplest way. You don't need to enter it into some crazy spreadsheet with rate of returns, et cetera. I just did it in 8 seconds. Right. And so that's just assuming a 7% average rate of return, right, with compound interest as they save over a 20-year period. So I hope that helps you explain that to people. It'll blow their mind. So what if they want 1.4 million? Save $1,800 a month. You do the calculation, you show them. It's very, very powerful, okay? I think people don't think that they are going to be able to retire because that's a rhetoric that the media pumps in our head all the time. No one's able to retire. People are in trouble in retirement. No, people are in trouble because they don't save, okay? It's not because they're of retirement age. It's because they never effing save any money. And no one ever talks about saving money. They talk about buying the new iPhone Pro for $1,100. Oh, shocker, I just showed you if you didn't buy that and you saved $1,000 and you did that every month, you have $720, okay? So it's really important to show people that, especially young people. Now with the past clients, I have a big past client database. My number one thing that I do for all of my past clients, I have a recurring task that for 10 years to call them for an annual review, Okay, so I closed 68 transactions just on annual reviews last year. Okay, so that's a good stat for you guys to know. So I have the questions. I've sent them before to MC. I'll send them again on how I execute that. That's a very simple strategy. Now within my past clients, I created like a VIP client list, right? And I don't call it VIP, that's just how I coin it, but really it's your top 50 past clients. So once again, it's getting super small. And when I first started doing this, I had like 200 people on the top past client list. But what I realized there, that was just greed. That was me thinking that the more people I put on there, the more money I'm gonna make, and the more, and it didn't work because I was shotgun spread too thin. I couldn't pour in to that big group the way I could to a smaller group. So I'm working on a true top 50 past client list, okay, of the people that I enjoyed working with the most, rating it and updating it on a monthly basis. Okay, those people also will get separate invitations to things, a separate dinner party once a year, a separate, and then when I call them, I'm calling Todd, it's Jeremy Forcier. Listen, man, I added you to my top 50 favorite past clients ever. I've done over 3,000 loans, Todd, and you literally are in the top 50 people that I've ever worked with, and I want to acknowledge it because I super appreciate you. So here's what you can expect from me, Todd. Because you're on this list, I hope you don't find it annoying. I'm going to be reaching out to you once a month with a video, and I'll be calling you every other month to check in and see how you're doing and if there's anything I can do for you. It's not to bother you. It's because I really care about you, and I want to be able to help you in any aspect of your life.
Dude, that's huge.
Okay. So that is my little paragraph that I wrote down. And listen, I am doing this. I'm not saying I'm great at this. I'm giving you guys my real-time ideas for 2020 that I might F it up, okay? I don't want to, but I think that being on like calls like this reinforce it for me from an accountability standpoint of like, I gotta figure this out. I gotta figure out a way to not be so busy and distracted and really pour into these people. And I know what's on the other side of the rainbow, right? But it's gotta be about identifying those people and pouring into these small groups. Now, the next list that I have is called VIPs, okay? And a little footnote, asterisk here for all of you listening, is that this was the hardest part about creating all of these lists, is that a rule that I have is that no one can cross-pollinate lists, okay? So think about that for a second. So my A realtor, if I think that they are a top 50 past client too, I have to choose which list they're gonna be on. They cannot be on both. No cross-pollination, okay? They have to be just on one list, all right? That way I can pour more into more people, and I'm not just duplicating. So it's a way I tricked myself to contact more people, is that they can only be on one list. They can't be on both lists, okay? So the VIPs are people that are just really important to me. So Dave Savage, for example, is on my VIP list, okay? So my VIP list definitions and the filters I use to add people to this list are people that I like, people that I want to hang around, like personally. Like you can't have someone on a VIP list and just want money, but you don't ever really want to hang around them, okay? So you have to like them, you have to want to hang around them. They have helped you, possibly. That's not a requirement, but you definitely want to help them. You definitely want to help them in their lives, in their mission, be interested in what their goals are, and you have to want to help them. So when I created those filters, my VIP list looked very different, you guys. Okay, it didn't have like a bunch of business people. I was using all these lists as prospecting lists. Okay, and that's not what they are. And I was so confused for 10 years about this until just this last year, that my VIP list is not a prospecting list. Now, did I do business with people on my VIP list? Of course, because it naturally happens, but that's not why I'm calling. So on Fridays, I call 12 VIPs. I have 62 on my list. I call 12 every Friday. I'm supposed to, at least, right? And it's, once again, the intention. Hey, Dave, it's Jeremy Forcier. hey dude, I'm just literally calling you because I'm calling VIPs today and you are a very important person in my life. You've made a huge impact on me. I remember you showing me how to use Mortgage Coach over some weird fax thing back in 2005. And I remember it blowing my mind. I remember you pouring time into me when you didn't know me from Adam. And you have made such an impact on my life, man. I'm just so grateful for you. That's it, you guys, right? So VIP list, inviting VIPs to special things, just VIPs, right? Hey, I'm having a VIP get together at my house. These are the most important people in my life. If you want to know who's on my VIP list, by the way, it's real simple. I use the filters. My whole team's on it, mandatory, because if I don't like my team, they can't work for me, okay? I came to that conclusion a while ago as well. Now, I don't have to be best friends with them. I'm not saying that you have to do everything together, but I'm saying if you don't like your team and you don't want to see them do well, they probably should find another job, okay? Because you're spending a lot of time with these people. So mandatory, all loan officers that work with me, mandatory on it, right? Friends, just past friends, people that I like to golf with, my wine buddies, people that made a huge impact in my life. My pastor, Roy Mason, is on my VIP list. Dave's on my VIP list. I could go on and on and on, right? I have previous coaches on my VIP list. My mom and dad are on my VIP list, right? So think like that. My kids are on my VIP list. So of reaching out to them, and I will tell you, I put my team on my VIP list, and I did a video just for my VIPs at the beginning of the year. Happy to share it with you, Dave and Todd, for everyone to look at. And my team at first was like, a couple people were like, ha, 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 I haven't even sent you a deal. That was what Liz said to me, right? As I texted to her, and I said, no, you're a VIP because you're a VIP. This has nothing to do with business. And just having that little interaction with her, she was like, oh my God, seriously? Thank you so much. Like, that means the world to me. And I'm like, well, yeah, because that's real. So you can have things that aren't business related and pour into people and deepen relationships, and good things will happen, whether it's directly from that interaction or relationship or whether it's from a chain reaction that occurs, okay? So those are my 4 lists that I'm super duper duper focused on for 2020.
I love it, brother. This is such a great interview. Guys, Jeremy is also going to be joining me this Friday when we interview Michelle Town and Al Hensling on how to turn non-QMs, QM loans into a competitive advantage. So he'll be here more. We got 18 minutes left, Jeremy, and I know we got a lot to cover. I do want to remind folks we're going to talk in closing around the site visit we're going to be doing, but and we will put a link down. So anyone that wants to be part of your mastermind site visit or one of the other ones that Todd and I are going to do throughout the year, we'll be publishing that list down below. So Jeremy, what do you want to make sure we cover in these last 18 minutes? I know we got a lot to go through. I know you want to talk a little bit about accountability. You want to talk about what you're doing with Super Nice Club. What do you want to cover in these last 18 minutes, brother?
Yeah, the next 2 things are actually very quick. And then really what I'd love to do is that I want to see questions. And you can ask me anything, whether it's about what we're talking about right now or random ask question. You can ask me anything. So I'm going to go through just 3 minutes real quick, a little bit about accountability. So when I talk about accountability, okay, another one of my goals, right, from unification, simplicity, and growth is to make sure that I am accountable, okay, to doing the things that I'm supposed to do every day, right? So I use this little tracker form that basically is just a check and minus, right? Like win by noon is killer with this, by the way, you guys. Did you do it? Did you not do it? Did you do what you're supposed to do? Did you not do it? Now, sometimes that's not enough for me because I'm such a good salesperson that I sell myself. Okay. So sometimes I'm so good that I'm like, oh, but I did this, and this, and that outweighs everything I was supposed to do. Right. And that's not true. It's a false statement, a false narrative. So what I've done to have extra accountability this year is I've gone deep with my teammates and a couple of accountability people within my branch. Right. And they can be outside of your branch. They can be in your branch. They can be friends, but extra accountability. So with consequences. So I'll give you an example. Megan, who thank God is coming back. She's been on maternity leave for the last 6 months. She's my personal assistant and office admin. She's been gone for 6 months. That means 6 months of me trying to figure out how to do email again. That means 6 months of me managing things that I don't manage very well. But she's going to come back to a new role. And that role is babysitter. Okay. And her job is going to be to make sure she babysits me. So when we hire people for our kids to babysit our children, we require them to be responsible and enforce at the end of the day, right? Be responsible, keep them safe, and enforce. So I made a deal with her that every day she's going to have my list prepared for me on who I need to call, what I need to do, what my theme is for that day. I have to turn that list into her by the end of the day. And if I'm supposed to call 40 agents in a day and I call 21 like I did this past Monday, I owe her $10 for every miss. Okay, that's $190 cash, right? So that's a consequence. So I'm really going to pour into accountability with consequences. And what that does with my team is it shows that I'm leading by example and I put my money where my mouth is. And so I'm going to do that around a lot of things in my life this year, right? I have a fitness accountability partner that I've been working with since Thanksgiving, right? It's funny how I've struggled with weight for over a decade, right? Because I love to eat, love to drink, all that stuff. And even though I work out, I got fat, okay? So I started the accountability with this person every day with consequences, right? If I don't do it. And ironically, I lost 17 pounds since Thanksgiving. It's like so irritating that that's all it took was some financial consequences for me to actually do the things I was supposed to do. So find more accountability, okay? Seek good counsel. There's a lot of people that tell you a lot of things that are stupid. And it doesn't mean the person's stupid. Everyone has good intentions usually, right? But you got to block out the noise and seek really good counsel from people that are killing it, that are doing it, that don't have an agenda outside of success, and follow those people. Listen to them, get more accountability from them. So that's what I'm doing around accountability within these lists even, Dave and Todd, is I'm just creating extra accountability with the consequence to make sure that I do the things that I'm supposed to do.
Love that, guys. So everybody out there, get an accountability partner, figure out what the right consequence is for you. But that is something that Todd and I talk a lot about, is accountability and the 5 levels of accountability. So we can spend a lot of time on that. What's another thing you want to make sure we cover? And then let's rock out some Q&A.
Yeah, the last thing is really simple. Okay. And I would love if you guys all, if any of you have a pen and a pencil, or you're at a keyboard, pull up an email screen or whatever. And I just want you to jot this down. Be nice. Okay. Be nice. It sounds so simple, but be nice. Be nice to yourself. Be nice to other people around you, and really just focus on the progression of being nicer. Okay. Being less confrontational, right? Listening to other opinions, helping other people. And if we use a filter of being nice, which is why I love the Super Nice Club, huge plug for them, is that that's their whole mission. They're an awesome company, and they're a lifestyle brand apparel company that their mission is to make the world 10% nicer. Not 100%, but for all of us to be 10% nicer, that will change the world. So you don't have to flip on your head and become Gandhi, right? But the collectiveness of us spreading the feeling of being nice and what that looks like in real life is infectious. Now, it will also make you more attractive, okay? People want to be around nice people. People don't want to be around jerks, okay? So I have been doubling down on Super Nice Club. I bought 100 hats, for example, and I gave them out to referral partners and some of my best clients in these lists and et cetera. And I wrote them a note with it, just said, hey, you belong in this club. It's the Super Nice Club, and you're one of the nicest people I know. Let's make the world nicer together. Super simple, great gift. They all love it. They start posting it everywhere, and it just breeds what my mission is. So if you guys don't have that as part of your mission, you should make it part of your mission. You should be doing things like that. Check out the Super Nice Club. They'll have a bunch of great ideas for swag. There's stickers that I hand out. I put them in my thank you cards. But just being nicer and promoting that will make people want to be around you more, and it will also make people want to work with you more. So that's like the final thought of my 2020 is unification, right? Growth, simplicity, And within that, being nicer person is always going to make you a better person and better at everything else that you do.
Yeah, no, I have bought or purchased a number of Super Nice Club shirts, stickers. I'm part of it. I literally went 3 straight days where I put that shirt on, and it just gave me energy. It was like a drug, because I was, and I had a few situations where I almost wasn't super nice, and then I'm like, oh, I'm wearing the Super Nice Club shirt.
Right.
I gotta get through this. So so anybody listening to this, go to superniceclub.com, check it out, get at least a hat, shirt, stickers, and spread the word. Because here's the deal, guys. If you can just be 10% nicer, push that onto someone else, it's a force multiplier. It's like small little differences makes life-changing differences. I don't know if you guys saw the post I put in the Mortgage Coach Facebook group today, but Denise Donahue put this post, and she talked about waking up 2 hours earlier. So like someone that wakes up at 5 in the morning versus 7 a.m., you know, over the course of a year, when you add up all the hours saved, it's an entire month.
Yeah.
You know, so like your 2 extra hours of eyes wide open, presence, getting after it, is an entire month. So what's that mean? Every 12 years, you're getting a bonus year. So again, force multiplier, super nice. Just be 10% nicer, spread the word, and it's amazing what it will do to you personally, and even more amazing the difference you can make for your clients. So guys, let's talk about the site visit, and then let's do Q&A of what we have left. Todd, are you still here? It looked like your screen locked up on us.
I'm here. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you're fine.
Oh, there you are. Okay. So I'm going to give my 30 seconds on it. Todd, you give your 30 seconds. Jeremy, make sure we cover it. So Todd and I are going to be doing a number of, a small number of site visits throughout 2020. Jeremy Forcier is the first one that we're going to host. It's going to start with a networking dinner. It's going to be a small group. We're only going to invite 10 people. We're going to do a dinner at a restaurant of Jeremy's choosing, close to the hotel that we'll stay. Then we're going to start early. If you want to work out with Jeremy, we're going to start with the Jeremy Forcier workout. We're going to spend a day with Jeremy and his team. Throughout that day, it will include things like watching him call current customers. It will include seeing him have a total cost analysis conversation with a client. It will include realtor conversations. And then, of course, access to his team, access to Jeremy to get your questions answered. So we'll spend a whole day of experiential learning. Also, we're going to help you, Todd, being Mr. Win by Noon, is going to make sure you guys come out of it with clarity on your different lists that you need to focus on, helping you guys fine-tune your scripts. Then, Jeremy, we're going to do a closing dinner. Where's that going to be?
Yeah, so closing dinner will be at Mayakama Golf Club, which is an amazing golf club in the wine country, secluded, super private. It's just an incredible venue. And we're going to spend, an evening together. I got some special guests, some surprises that I'm not going to talk about, even up until when we actually have it, but it'll be absolutely incredible. I'm opening up the personal wine cellar. If you don't drink, you don't have to. There's root beer as well. But if you do, I'm going to open up some gems, and we can all just create community together, network, discuss our takeaways, and just have fun. So doing this mastermind ties into everything I was talking about with making smaller, tighter lists, being more impactful. I've done a couple of them over the years on my own with people, and I've gotten better and better at them. So I feel like I'm in a great place now to really know what is valuable, because when I first started doing them, Todd and Dave, what's interesting is that the feedback I got on what was super impactful and valuable was not what I thought would have been super impactful and valuable. So now that I know these things, I've really figured out how to tailor it into something that someone can walk away with huge takeaways. And spending a ton of time with my team is really important, okay? Having them really dive into the specific processes and systems. What is it like to work with me? What do they hate about my leadership? What do they love about my leadership? So you can take those things back and understand how to implement them with the people you work with as well. But it's going to be a blast in the least. And I'm super looking forward to it.
Cool. So Todd, what else do we want to make sure we communicate in today's call around it, and how can people get on a list and apply to be considered?
Awesome. So I threw in both the Zoom link and on the Facebook. Just go to LO for loan officer, in case you can figure it out, lositevisit.com. We've got just a form there to gather information so we can get you information on this first site visit with Jeremy, which obviously is going to be amazing, as well as the future site visits that Dave and I put together. I think the real key here is putting back, my producer hat on. When I was a newer producer, the leaps and bounds when I grew was by spending time in face to face with people, not nearly as great as Jeremy, but people who were better than me, right? I actually was able to sit there and learn, and then the mastermind piece of it. I think that's really, the key here. Obviously, Jeremy comes on here and he opens up his playbook and he shares what he's doing, but imagine that opportunity to sit there actually in his office for a day and have all that walked through with Jeremy and his team. I think it's just one of those things that's just such a huge opportunity. And I love the fact, Jeremy, that you shared transparently that you've gotten way better at doing it. So I just think it's going to be great. What else would you add to that?
I mean, that's really it. I would love to, see and help anyone and everyone that's interested. The only thing I would add is very similar to what Todd said. I personally have gone to a dozen site visits in my career, and it's always worth it every single time. A lot of my systems that I've keyed in and redone and made great was based on like a thing I saw like in an office, or a feeling that I got, or something that I heard. And so, I mean, I have to attribute going as an attendee to a lot of these site visits from big producers, or even companies, site visits at companies, to see what they're doing has been a huge catalyst. And I would love to be a catalyst for anyone that's, interested in growing and being awesome.
So guys, again, we're going to be selective. Only 10 are going to be selected to come to it. It's not an inexpensive investment. It's a $5,000 investment that does include all your meals, does not include your hotel and your travel. And someone just made a comment here that didn't know what the cost was, but anticipated they may not be able to afford it. Todd and I will be looking for more ways and doing more site visits. This one, given that you're going to have Jeremy's present, you're going to have me there, you're going to have Todd there. This is a big deal, small group. We're going to select. If you want to be considered, fill out the questionnaire. I think the last question is, what do you want to get from this? And we're going to just hand pick some people, send you an invite, give you 72 hours to decide if you want it until we fill this thing up. So click the link down below. Todd, anything else before we try to hit a few questions here?
Well, and even if this one's not the right one for you, make sure you fill it out anyway. Just make a note at the last page that you're interested in future site visits as well, because I think there's going to be an opportunity out there for all of you. This one, obviously, with Jeremy is going to be super unique, but we definitely want to get more of you out there to future events if this one doesn't make sense.
Awesome.
Cool.
Hey, Todd,
so guys,
Dave, I have plenty of time, so I can answer it. I know you guys have schedules too, but I'm okay, just so you know.
No, let's, I like that, man. So guys, we're going to go unscripted here. Make sure we answer every question that you have. And there are some questions, Jeremy. So a new loan officer, is just asking for advice. I'm new to the business. What advice do you have for first year LO? And guys, we're going to get all your questions answered. So if you have questions, keep posting them.
First year LO, here's a couple of just quick ones, okay? Because there's a lot. But the first thing I would ever do with a first year LO is that whether you're married or not right now, I want you to pretend that you're getting married. And I want you to pretend that you can throw the most insane, awesome wedding ever. And I want you to write down, and you have no budget limitations. So you can invite as many people as you want, acquaintances, family members, extended family, you name it, people that you just want to be friends with and that you think would be fun to be at. Make that list and then call all those people, okay, and ask them if you can help them. Hey, it's Jeremy Forcier. I'm in the mortgage business now. I haven't talked to you in a while. I wanted to connect with you, not only to see how you were, but to also see if I could help you with any of your mortgage needs. Okay, super simple, right? So you'll probably come up with a list of about 80 people, right, in about 10 minutes, and just call all of them. right? Start building your list that way. That's a really easy pop. It's one of the first things I did when I got into the mortgage business, and guess what? It worked. Okay, I think I closed in my second month ever in the business 15 years ago. I closed 4 loans, okay, in my second month, and all 4 loans came from me doing this one exercise. Okay, so that would be number 1. Number 2 is that you got to get visible. Okay, you cannot hide in your cave, in your office. You have to get visible. So get out there to where there's massive groups of people, Chamber of Commerce stuff, right? Realtor caravans where they go look at all the different properties, open houses on the weekends, stop by 2 or 3 and introduce yourself, try to make an appointment. Those are some real basics that I would say. And third and finally, if I was new, is that I would get a coach right away. Find an accountability partner, okay? Find a coach, find something that's a community that's gonna hold you accountable, someone that you can check in with regularly and pour into that.
So, and guys, as a reminder, we've got a new loan officer playlist. I was very thoughtful about the videos in that. I have a lot of friends that they have kids getting in the business, and they would ask me, Dave, what videos should they watch? So I put a new loan officer playlist together. I put it in an order that I thought made sense, starting with Simon Sinek, you know, really building your mortgage why. And Jeremy's scripts, you know, a number of interviews with Jeremy are in that new loan officer playlist. And the only other thing I would add to that, guys, is you can learn the loan business doing TCAs. So even if you don't have a live prospecting client, you know, go to your manager and do a total cost analysis. Learn to be a strategist. You can literally, in a matter of 2 months, be smarter about mortgage options than 95% of loan officers in America just by doing 20, 30 total cost analysis. Even if you're just doing them as a mock, even if you're doing them as a mock-up, you know, you don't have a client, but you're mocking them up. And if you're a manager on this and you have new loan officers, I mean, I would literally be trying to get them to brown belt 100 TCAs. It'd be like a race. How fast can I get this person to do 100 TCAs so that they can be a strategist? They will have an advantage over almost every loan officer in America if you do that. Anything you want to add, Jeremy, before we go to the next question?
No, the only thing I would add, this goes for first-time LOs as well as long-time LOs, okay? Get this book and read it, okay? The Little Engine That Could, okay? This was my favorite book that I read last year. I read it again last night, okay? And it is my favorite book out of all books that I read last year was The Little Engine That Could. And the whole premise of it is just that you think you can, okay? Because when you think you can, you can. So get this book, read it, and just remember that you can do it, but you have to think you can do it first.
Love that. So we got a loan officer that said, I just finished my first full year in the business. I did 40 loans. By the way, great job. That was a great first year in the business. I'm in a small market with a population of less than 50,000. How do I grow, or how did you grow your business outside your small market? So what advice would you have for someone that wants to expand from the small town that they live in?
Cool. So I think it kind of goes back to what I just talked about as well. When I made this wedding list, it's not like everyone was in my town, right, that I lived in, but I reached out to them and asked if I could help. If you want to expand your business, you have 3 options, right? Either 1, you can drive there and make yourself more visible. Number 2, you can do videos and target different people and go there. Or number 3, you can talk to people on the phone. So I know this sounds really super simplified, but once again, that's one of my top 3 themes, is that's it. It is not that challenging and difficult. I believe that if I drive 45 minutes in any direction, I consider that local from where I am. So redefine what you consider local. Where I live, very similar, 50,000 people in the city, town, whatever you want to call it, where I live, right? So going out into those other markets and defining it as local. And by the way, will you get pushback sometimes on people? Oh, you don't live here? I always use that as an opportunity to redefine local to them. I tell them what I just told you. Oh yeah, I figure, man, it takes me 22 minutes just to get literally across town 4 miles. It only takes me 38 minutes to get here. I think that we need to redefine what local is. Hyper local is dead. And that might not be all the way true, but that's what I say. okay, is that I don't believe in it. It's just a personal belief that like being hyper local is kind of stupid. Like, okay, I could be super hyper local and just do loans in Petaluma. Well, there's only 31 homes on the market total, and there's like 5,000 mortgage people here. Okay, so it's like, how much of the pie do I want? Where am I willing to go and break into other markets, and what do I consider local? So I just want to help the most people possible, and if that means that I'm driving an hour a day to meet with people, get new referral partners, have coffees, learn about different markets, then that's what I'm going to do.
Hey, and by the way, who said hyper-local isn't a 38-minute drive? So I think you just get to define that. To me, hyper-local is when you have the option of what I call delivering this omni-channel experience that's digital and in person. And now not every person wants to meet you in person, but
Right.
if they do, they have that opportunity. So if you can drive and connect with people in person, you are hyper-local. So I think you just redefine that. Todd, I see a few more questions here, but I'll kind of volley back and forth with you. Do you see a question coming from the community for Jeremy?
Yeah, I see a great one. I see a great one on how Jeremy transitioned from the TCA then to the LE and the CD. What's the scripting on that look like?
Sure. So whenever anyone has questions on the LE and the CD, which do come up, right? I simply explain it like this. I always say, hey, no problem, let's hop on the phone. It can be super confusing because the government created those documents. And as we know, governments are very complex, which is why I create the simplified version. My TCA that I sent you is correct. And I just want to show you where things show up on this form because it can be extremely confusing. So let's set up a time to go over it together. I do want to make sure you're 100% clear. And then that way we can move forward with confidence.
Well, I love the fact that you say, let's hop on the phone. How often would you answer a question like that via email? I find LOs kind of get sucked in sometimes with technology.
Zero. I don't ever email anything in an explanation about a CD or an LE because usually it's a visual thing for them, okay? It's a visual thing that they just are like, it's like a jigsaw puzzle and they can't see where the corner goes. Okay, so for me, 100% of the time, set up an appointment, let's talk about it, and it works almost all the time. So, and sometimes we catch mistakes in there too, right? And then we get an opportunity to fix them.
I think that's huge. I really think that's where people get hung up all the time is they try to text back and forth or email, and then all of a sudden they lose the client because it's just not the most efficient way to do it. So thank you for saying that. Zero, everyone. That's how many times.
The only text or email that they will get back will literally be, Todd, that's a great question. It can be super confusing to look at. When is a good time for us to hop on the phone? That's it.
So I want you guys to write down something. Don't teach with text.
Never.
You don't have to write this down. Don't argue with text.
Never.
Don't negotiate with text.
Never.
So if you are a teacher, you teach in person, you teach over the phone, you can teach with video, but you need to leverage a multi-sensory experience. Text is a great way to lose a client if you're trying to teach them with text. It's a great way to lose a friend or hurt someone you love if you argue with text. And it's a great way to fumble a negotiation if you try to negotiate with text. So guys, never teach with text. Dude, that was a huge gem. Todd, you have another question?
Yeah, someone was asking about your prospecting again and how you keep yourself accountable to it. And I heard you say it's with fines, with money. Any other advice you'd give on that?
Yeah, it is. That's part of it, okay, is fines with money. But I just feel a big sense of responsibility to lead by example. Okay, so I have a lot of people that work with me, that follow me, that have eyeballs on me when I think that they're not paying attention as well. Okay, and that is enough accountability for me to not want to let those people down, and to show them that I am leading by example, that I'm always willing to roll up my sleeves and that I actually do the work. So for me, a lot of my consistency with prospecting is that, yes, I have consequences around it. That's not the main driver though. the main driver is leading by example. That is usually enough for me. And then when that isn't enough for me, my selfish wise, I always remind myself that I could make $5,000 every time I dial a phone number. And so I have these filters that I'll go in these check boxes where I'll be like, I want to be a great leader. And if I'm not feeling it that day, I'm like, and I'll go to the next one, right? Accountability with fines and consequences. Oh, I don't care. I made $100,000. I'll pay the $100. Then I go to the next one. I'm like, I could make $5,000 if I pick up this phone right now. Let's start dialing, baby. So you just have to have multiple things, I think, that motivate you. Like, I want to give the best advice. I want to help the most people, but I don't feel the same way every single day. So I find different things and I have like a laundry list, right? Of like, how am I going to stay motivated? My 5-minute journal is right here. And every day I write down 3 things that would make today great. I always write down one new deal, no matter what, by the way. One new deal. I write it down every single day. It's the first one I write down. Okay, one new deal. Oftentimes when I'm not feeling great about maybe wanting to pick up the phone and prospect, one of my 3 things will be, I will make 10 outbound phone calls. So affirmations around it, like just trying to create a spider web of consequences, motivation, wanting to help, selfishness, want to be rich, creating all of those things and then figuring out which one I need to pick to motivate me in that moment.
I love that. Just like kind of Goggins pulling from the cookie jar, baby.
Yep.
So I have done multiple site visits with Jeremy, and I know his process. I would tell you the way he uses his CRM. He works for a CRM. He makes sure that he has good data in there. He has scheduled to-dos. And so also he just comes locked and loaded. It's not like he starts his morning going, who am I going to call today? Like, oh, let me go find people to call. It's like he knows who he has to call, and then the machine just feeds him phone calls. Like, you'll see his calendar, and it's just filled with 5-minute, 10-minute, 20-minute, 1 hour. You know, he's booked. So I would just tell you, part of how he prospects so consistently is the deck is stacked before the day starts. And then he's closing it out. He's committed to his goals. So Jeremy, someone asked this question, and while they could go back and listen to Friday's interview, and we are also going to post a 3-minute rant on this, for people that have stayed on this call, I think it would just be motivational if you just gave us a minute or 2 or 3 on your selfish why. Like, a few people are like, well, what is it? You've talked about his selfish why. What is Jeremy's selfish why?
Okay. You want me to do that right now?
Yeah, bring it.
All right. Well, the selfish why is easy because it's selfish. Okay. And we all are selfish, and that's not a negative thing all the time. Okay. We all have wants, needs, desires, etc. So I did this exercise where I asked myself, like, actually I did it with other people, but then I did it myself, of course, first. And I was asking some students and loan officers that worked with me, like, listen, I want you to tell me your why, like why you're doing all the things you do in your life. Like, why are you actually doing it? Why do we choose this crazy, insane, stressful business, right? Most of the people I was doing this with, their families could probably care less if they closed an extra 4 loans a month. Okay, they usually want time. So the context was, you can't say anything about what you're doing this for your family. You can't say kids. You can't say to create financial security for your family or legacy. You can't say any of that stuff. It has to be just about you. Okay. And when I did it, I realized that, number one, man, I love to win. Like, I love to compete. I love to win. I love to hunt. I love the chase. I love to always get better. I like measuring sticks. I want to know where I measure up and where do I want to go. I know that I want to be filthy, stinking rich. And that is a very vulnerable thing to say. Okay, that I think that we get so used to going to therapy on what's the why sometimes. And there's all these other important things, right, that I do it for. But I know for damn sure that my wife would rather me be home at 4:30 every single day than 6:30. Well, why do I choose 6:30 then? How come? Well, it's because I want to ride on a private plane when I want to someday. I've never been on one. I want to crush that goal. Well, in order to do that, I need lots of money. I like the flexibility that being super financially secure gives me. And the good news is I get to help a ton of other people in order to be financially secure and achieve all these ever selfish whys. I want to be in the best shape of my life. I want my wife to think I'm super hot. That's why I'm losing weight, less fat, more shred. Okay. I want to be able to give away tons of money in the community, right? Which I do, but that's because selfishly I want to win and I want to make a lot of money. And then it gives me all these different things that I can do and different opportunities. So I think that you have to not just figure out like why you do things for other people around you in your life, but why are you doing them selfishly for yourself? Because no one really cares at the end of the day. Okay. What, like your family, for example, like that you're going to do an extra 2 loans, 3 loans, 5 loans, open 10 extra branches, whatever it is that you're doing, they don't care. So let's not pretend that we've all been conditioned to just pretend it's about that. It's not, because that's not what they want. What do you want? Because that's really what's driving you at the end of the day.
Love it, brother. So guys, we are going to have a greatest hits on that in IGTV by the end of the day. You want to re-listen to that rant. I think it'd just be a good reminder. Remember, if you want to be considered for Jeremy's upcoming site visit, there's a link down below, whether you're watching this in Zoom or whether you're watching this in Facebook. Todd, any other questions we need to hit before we wrap this up?
If Jeremy's got time, someone's asking, when cold calling agents, have you experienced more success by providing value, custom open house, full hires, loan programs, info, etc., on the first call, or being direct and trying to schedule an appointment?
Option B. Okay. I don't sell anything ever on a cold call. Ever, 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 ever. Okay. Option B all the way. There is no providing value to someone that you haven't established rapport with yet. Okay. There's no such thing. That's called spam marketing. And I'm not knocking the person who did it. And I've done it a gazillion times. Okay. But I do know that it doesn't work very well. And the people that it will work with are the wrong people. Okay. They're, oh, really? No, you got a new program? Tell me about it. Hey, you got a turkey sandwich? I'm hungry. Like they just don't, those people, the people that seek value want connection, want relationship. So I say go in and just ask for the appointment. Okay. I mean, 100%. Go in, ask for the appointment. Flattery is always great. Todd, you're awesome. Heard you're a great realtor. Would love to learn more about your business. Would love to meet with you for 30 minutes next week. What's a good time for you? Right? Just ask.
Keep it simple, right?
Keep it simple.
Hey guys, I've interviewed Jeremy on this multiple times. One of the top 10 interviews was last year, was Jeremy's Realtor Scripts. So check it out. It's on our LinkedIn. I did a LinkedIn article with our top 10. One of them was called Scripts with Jeremy. All kinds of scripts, including Realtor Scripts. And one of them was how to win with realtors. So check out those interviews. Jeremy, last question. Someone wants to know, what's your best golf score?
Why you got to be mean? I thought we were talking about being nice and like all this crazy stuff. So I've golfed a 91 once. That tells you how good I am. Okay. Golfed a 91 once. I'm about 100. I'm 100 plus score. 111 was my last score. Okay. I have fun on the golf course. Okay. So I'm not the super serious guy. I take everything else so serious in my life. Like I need to have one thing that I just don't take serious. Right now, I hit some good shots here and there. If you want to have a fun time on the golf course, I'm definitely your guy, but I am not a low shooter and I will move my ball wherever I see fit whenever I want.
Boom. So dude, we got to go golfing. You're my kind of player. And someone said something about mulligans. I mean, I know that's a thing, but I'm sure you're like me, Jeremy. We don't like that shot. Take another one.
I will mulligan every shot if I want to, but I will also move it to a nice little place where I think I can hit it good. Okay. So it's that's my answer. All
right, guys. So, hey, man, Jeremy, I am so grateful for you, brother. Everybody listening to this, if you got value from this conversation, you know, like it, comment. Let us know that this was valuable to you. If you do want to be considered for the site visits we're doing in Jeremy's, fill out the link below. This has been awesome. Todd Bookspan, thank you as always for being my wingman and all the things that you do. Anything you want to say before we close, Todd?
No, I just think you've got to listen to this again, right? Go back to the beginning, listen to it again. And then those are some great things you can implement in your business today in order to have a better 2020. So I'm super grateful, Jeremy. I can't wait to be up in your neck of the woods next month, spending some time with you.
It'll be great, man. Well, everyone have a great rest of your day. Remember, don't overthink anything. If it's greater than 3 steps, it's too complicated.
Get some. Take care, everybody. This is a wrap.
All right, guys. We'll see you.
Bye.